Next question, though, is a little bit more upbeat for you. Not upbeat if you're a Liverpool fan, though, but is Klopp out, in your opinion, pending?
Yes. I did a show with Grizz the other day. Big up to him. Big up to everyone who watched it. And I said, are Liverpool finished? And I know it sounds reactionary and stupid, and it wasn't clickbait. I was genuinely asking the question. Last season, they came very close to doing something that's never been done before, winning a quadruple. They won 2 finals, lost a final, and finished a couple of points. Was it a couple of points or a point off of Man City? But this season, I don't care whether they got injuries or not. They had injuries other times and still made their way up the league, didn't they? You know, so I think if you actually look at what he did at Dortmund, it was after 7 years it all collapsed. And people are putting 2 and 2 together right now and saying, well, this is his 7th season, blah, blah, blah. You know, and if you look at some of the players, Terry, Trent looks, I know, I heard a little bit about what you were saying about Trent the other day on one of the videos you put out. Yeah, you're absolutely spot on. Yeah, because I'm glad you've realised he ain't world class, mate, because I was telling you. But I understand why you were saying that. But now all of a sudden he's got a couple of players out of that system that are normally first team starters, and he looks like a fish out of water. You know, Van Dijk don't look the same player since his injury. Salah, well, I keep telling everyone Salah's mad overrated.
What?
Yeah, he's mad overrated. I've been telling everyone for 2 seasons. He's not average, but he's mad overrated. He's massively overrated, Terry. Massively. Like, if you
In
look
what
at
way?
it, in what way? Yeah, because he gets a goal. Oh, it writes off the other 89 minutes and 30 seconds of the game where he did nothing. Yeah, which is cool. I understand. His job is to score goals. But if you look at his performances this season, why has he been so poor? Why? Because of the system he's played in has made him look better than he actually is. Yeah, it's a fair play to Klopp for making him look better than he actually is. If you take Salah out of that team and put him in a team that isn't 100-mile-an-hour press. Let's just push you right up the pitch and dominate you from the front, which they can do against 90% of the teams in the Premier League, by the way, maybe more. Yeah, most of the teams in Europe, they can do it. But if you look at his performances this season, they've got, and I don't care if Liverpool fans want to come out and start crying about it. I don't necessarily dislike Liverpool. Yeah, I dislike the way they hype up some of their players, but I get it. They're going to hire, every football fan base does it. Right? But if you ever look at his performances this season, the amount of people that go, no, Salah's crap. Oh, Salah ain't got no. No, Salah's been the same, mate, as he always has been. The difference is he stopped scoring. Yeah, that's it. So his performances are trash, but a goal would save him. Yeah, he'd score a goal. And listen, he does score some great goals. I'm not going to dispute that. The goal against Man City last season, or was it the season before, where he jinked around a couple, unbelievable goal. We've seen goals against Chelsea where he's walloped and top bins. Yeah, and his stats, he should be thanking Klopp, real talk, because Klopp's made his output so much better than it should have been. Yeah, and I don't think he's that great. I've said it for 2 years. I don't think he's that great, maybe more. He ain't that great. This season, he's showing that he ain't that great. What? So you take a couple of players out of the team and all of a sudden Salah can't function. Like, maybe top players would function. I remember Thierry Henry for me, and I've seen people compare him to Thierry Henry. Yeah, I remember Thierry Henry playing with some bums at this football club, man. Some right shit players, Terry. And guess what? He's still the best player on the pitch. Whether he was scoring or not scoring, Henry was still the best player on the pitch in games with average players at times around him. Yeah, Salah's now got a few average players around him, and all of a sudden he looks like he's finished. Yeah, as soon as they get a couple of players back, then all of a sudden Salah might start scoring again, which will prove my point. Yeah, and the guy that's saying 6 games into the season, if you had Champions League games in, mate, it's more than that. Yeah, and the first Champions League game you lot played, you got slapped by Napoli. Napoli, absolutely destroyed. It could have been 7. Yeah, and if you look, I've watched most of Liverpool's games. I didn't watch the Napoli game, but I watched the extended highlights of that. But I've watched pretty much every single Premier League game Liverpool played this season. They're doing exactly what they do when they've got a couple of key players out of their team. They look bang average. So Klopp, I wouldn't say is overachieved, but what I would say, I actually think he's underachieved because the system he's had in place has been very hard to compensate against. But he has made certain players within that squad overachieve with their performances, because in this era, it's all about goals and assists. Salah's putting up the numbers. All of a sudden, people are talking, oh, he could be the best ever Liverpool player of all time. Turn it in. Come on, seriously. Yeah, like me and was it me and Rance the other day? Me and Rance were doing a show, or me and Grizz. No, it was me and Grizz. You know, we were talking and saying, like, does anyone know how many goals and assists Ronaldinho got? Nobody cared. Like, because we knew he was a great player. Nobody knows how many goals R9 got in a season. Yeah, somebody put it in the chat the other day. I think he got 40 goals in 42 games for Barca. Like, we didn't know that because we weren't sitting there counting goals and assists. I would say that goal and assist will write off the rest of that game because he got a goal, he got an assist.
Hang on, but I understand that to a degree. But the reason that we knew Ronaldinho, the reason that we knew R9, the reason that we knew Maradona, the reason that we knew Thierry Henry was so good is because we saw them assist and score in the vast majority of games.
Okay, on that basis, then why do we know Xavi and Iniesta were so good?
Let me just finish. But Xavi and Iniesta play a very different role to a forward. You can't.
Yeah, but we knew they were great players, didn't we?
Yeah, of course we did. Do you know why we knew they were great players? Because they barely let go of the ball. Their pass completion levels were absolutely sensational.
Yeah, but we weren't counting pass completion.
Hang on, let me finish talking. Let me finish talking. The reason it wasn't being counted is because the information wasn't readily available. But we could see that they were doing it. We could see that it was happening. If the stats for Mo Salah were not being put out there week in, week out, day in, day out, you would know he's a good player, but you wouldn't know his statistics. What now happens, because stats are focused on, because the information is at your fingertips, is what people overanalyze. Now, when it comes to him as an individual, he has still been impactful this season, but his role's been changed. He's been turned into a creator. So his job, just the same as, say, a KDB at Manchester City, is to create opportunities and chances. And at Liverpool this year, he's created chances. In fact, he's the highest chance creator of all the top 5 leagues in Europe so far this year. Liverpool's problem hasn't been Mo Salah performing badly in his new role. It's been the fact that the attackers that he's creating chances for haven't been converting those opportunities.
Which comes back to our Bruno
in the back of the net.
What type of chances is he creating?
He's also created some of the highest big chances created as well. The point I'm making to you is this. Like, by the way, Ronaldinho and R9, you wouldn't have thought they were top class players if they weren't scoring and creating chances in every game.
Absolute rubbish.
No nonsense. If they just hang on, let me make my point. If R9 was doing all those skills, all them dribbles, all those runs, but he wasn't scoring that level of goals, he wouldn't be remembered in the same way. He would basically be St. Maximin. If he wasn't scoring and assisting,
oh dear.
No, I'm being flippant. But if you're telling me if you took away 70% of R9's goals, you still think he'd be remembered as R9?
Terry,
no way.
Terry, do you know how many goals R9 scored in his career? Because I don't. But I bet you know how many goals Wayne Rooney scored in his Man United career, didn't you?
Well, I don't know. I don't know how many goals 90% of football players at other clubs have scored.
Does anyone know how many goals Ronaldinho scored for Barcelona? Because I don't. I just enjoy watching him every week.
I've looked at Ronaldinho not that long ago, actually, his goals and assists. The geezer's got a very, very high percentage of goals and assists in his career when you actually go through it and study it. My point to you is this. None of those players, none of the top attackers you can think of, you can't name me a world-class forward that's regarded as one of the greatest ever that doesn't have brilliant GA. They all do. Nedved, he's an inside forward or a striker.
Well, he's a midfielder.
No, yeah. I said forwards. Well,
is an attacking midfielder not a forward then? What about Pirlo?
No, I'm sorry. Stats. Hang on. No, but so what stats are you looking at when it comes to Pirlo? Are you looking at his ability to intercept the ball, how often he loses possession?
See, this is what I'm saying. The stats are irrelevant. We've got eyes, Terry, and we can go back to the eye test from last week.
But you're moving the goalpost now, though. We're talking about forwards. There's no such thing as a world-class striker or a world-class forward in the history of football who's looked at as a GOAT who didn't have a high goal scoring and or creation record in terms of statistics. It's impossible. The reason that R9, Ronaldinho, Maradona, Pele, Messi and Ronaldo, Cristiano Ronaldo, all these guys, the reason they're looked at as the creme de la creme is because, yes, they look good. Yes, they have brilliant skills at times.
But then they had the stats to back it up.
Exactly. But with Mo Salah dribbles well. Mo Salah's had good touches.
Mo Salah dribbles well.
Mo Salah's a good dribbler. I didn't say he was a world-class dribbler, but he's a good dribbler. This whole thing is not good on the eye. I don't understand. He looks very good to me, but his statistics are there. They prove that he's doing things in games. Now, the difference is with Mo Salah, what people do now is it's a very simple thing they do to Mo Salah. I'm a Man United fan out here defending a Liverpool player. When he doesn't score, people go, what else does he do? But then what you're doing as the viewer is you are ignoring all the other things in games that he does. No, he didn't do anything. But if he's doing nothing, why is he out creating the likes of KDB with big chances as well? That means nothing. But the reason I'm giving you the stats is because your eye test clearly let you down, because I saw him doing this in games. I've seen him doing it in games, but yet you didn't see it. So your eye test doesn't work, Lee. Your eye test is broken.
What do you mean my eye test doesn't work, Terry? The fact
because you didn't see him creating the chances, but I did. Then you said he did nothing.
Terry, okay, so let's break down the chances Salah's created. How many has he created? How many big chances has Salah created this season in the Premier League?
I'll get you that stat right now.
And then tell me how many of them are big chances. Big chances created. I don't want just chances created. Big chances created. And then tell me whether the player was on balance or off balance. Yeah, when
that's not on Mo Salah. Why is that Mo Salah's fault?
I'll give you an example. I'll give you a perfect example, Terry.
I'm not having it, Lee. You're moving the goalpost. By the way, if Mo Salah...
No, because big chances created...
Lee, let me explain. No, Lee, I'm sorry. You are manipulating the situation.
I'm not manipulating. I'm giving you hard facts. This show's called Straight Facts.
No, Lee, let me get this out. This is why it's not a straight fact. If Mo Salah twines a man up on the right and then puts a ball... Let me finish. If he puts a ball across the 6-yard box for a tap-in, and Darwin Núñez trips over his own feet before he gets there and misses, that's not Mo Salah's fault.
No, I get that. How many times has that happened this season?
I'm giving you an example.
You're giving me a scenario that hasn't happened.
So, but
I'll give you a scenario that has happened.
Lee, you gave the scenario by saying, how many times did he create the chance where a player was off balance? You put that on the table. That's a nonsense. Mo Salah's
I'll give you the perfect example of a big chance created that isn't a big chance created, Terry.
Let me finish. It's not on Mo Salah to make sure that Jota, to make sure that Luis Diaz, and to make sure Darwin Núñez have tied their shoelaces properly and are on balance. That's not his job. Come on, mate. Wow.